Yeah, so this is actually a video about Microsoft Access. So Microsoft Access, when you hear of Microsoft Access, we are talking about database. So someone might say, why not Excel? It seems Excel and Access, they have some like some similarities. The similarities is that you can enter records in each of them, that you can store certain items in them, but Excel is not actually a relational database. When you talk of database should have a feature of that's a relationship. Data can basically have a kind of relationship, and also Excel, it has limit number of items that you can basically store in Excel, but for Access, Microsoft Access, it is not actually like that. It has limited number of data that you can basically store in them. So that's what in order not to waste my time, you go ahead and create a database to basically have a clear understanding of how you can have your hands on using a Microsoft Access. So here, this is Microsoft Access. You have the file, you have the home, the create. So the interface is basically just like Microsoft Access and some other Microsoft software. So this is you're going to create a database. So there you come to create. So we click on the table design, and we are going to create that's a record for users. And when we talk of here is actually a column, and here is a row. So the row basically represents records. So that's what a database actually means. Like, this is called a row, and it can also be called as a record. This is actually a column, and here is called a value field. This is where we enter values or figures in there. So to get a clear understanding about this, here we are going to store items in here. We're going to create a database with name users. So the name is actually users. Before this is actually in a different mode, design mode. I want it in the data sheet view. That's why they're asking me that if I want to save. So users, so there are no fields. So basically I have no field in the so ID, I have number, ID of number, and let me full name of short text, email of short text. So these are basically the data type that we want to specify for our users. User with ID, full name, email, and also a password. So the password, we are also going to set it like this. So I have is mail. I want to also yes or true. So this is what we want to set, and I come here again. So now I have records in my database, so I can actually see. So there is no primary key defined, although a primary key isn't required. It's highly recommended a table must have a primary key for you to define a relationship between this and other tables in the table. Do you want to create a primary key now? So I'm going to automatically allow the Microsoft Access to create the ID for me. So I'll take off the ID that I have in there. So automatically to create and here we have ID 1. So I need to ensure this column is actually this. I need to ensure this field is actually out. So now I have my ID. Now I have the ID, and I want to actually rename it. So now ID, full name, email, password is mail. So this is my records, and so I have ID, full name, email, password is mail, and this is our table. This is the table. We have our field name, our data type. So this is the database. So Excel, now you've seen one other thing that it is actually different from Excel as well. Let's say you not have anything like a primary key. So when you talk of a primary key, it is actually a digit or a number or anything that uniquely identifies a record from the other records in a table or actually in a database. So IDs are basically different from users with the IDs basically kind of different from the other. So for example, if you are actually in an institution, let's say you are actually in a university and you have your student ID, or any other institution student ID, your student ID number is basically different from the other any other friend of yours or any other person that you know. So that's how it is. Then we are going to here, we are not going to enter anything. The ID will automatically generate. So we move ahead and go to full name. So Emmanuel Asa, you see the ID has indicated 1, so it's automatically generate the number for you without worrying yourself generating the numbers or writing the numbers. 1 2 3 4. So Ismail, yes. So let's go to the other one. Is you see you have another record. That's another primary key for Abigail. 1 2 3 4. So actually the kind of record that currently we have our database, and you can double click to expand the the column. Yeah, you can double click to expand the column, or you can try drag and how you want your database to actually be. Then Control plus S or click here to actually save your data in the data in the that's in the table. So yeah, so now you have our records in here. This is how database actually work in Microsoft Access. That's basically, this is something that you need to know as a beginner. So this is our data, this is our database, and we have various tables, and one of our tables is users. Yeah, so this is what we've actually done. And one other thing, we have I'm going to basically let you know how the relationship in database actually also works. So we have users. Now I'm going to create another table where we have list of items. So users, maybe you're going to share items to the users, and they need to basically ensure that all those items that you've shared, the users have had theirs. So we are going to share, let's say, item name. So item name we have that's maybe an users. So maybe an employee is sharing the item. So an employer is sharing the item. So we are going to indicate. So we have the item name, the employer, and also let's say the region. So right now we have this. So we are basically going to ensure this is going to generate an ID for us. So it is basically going to generate an ID for us. So you need to ensure that. So once you have users item, so you have the same message here. So we have the ID for the users, have the ID for the users, you have the users item as well. So here we have let's come here, item name, let's say rice employer, NHIS, region, resting. So here we have the Gary. Yeah, so the same NHIS, Western. So these are basically items that they are actually sharing to users. So users items, users. So this is what we have. And for how are we going to ensure our databases, our tables are having a relationship, so that they get to understand themselves that this very ID, if a user here receives an item, what will actually indicate is that the IDs. So now we have I'm going to let you know the relationship, so that we end this very video. That will be where this video will come to an end, so that we get to know that's the understanding, that the clear understanding that you actually have about relationship. So you come to database tools, you come here, you have your this very table, that's users table, and here as well you come here, that's you have the users table here. We have the users table here, and we have the users item also here. So how are we going to create the relationship? So the relationship here is the ID for users and users ID, users item. So how are we going to create the relationship? So you take where the key is. This is where we are going to create the relationship. So you select here, you drag to here, meaning then there will be a pop-up letting you know that okay, so you want the ID here and ID here to have a relationship. So if you edit the relationship, and once you are done, you click on create. So now you see there is a relationship between this very table. Wherever you drag any of the table, it will let you know that they have relationship, and the relationship here is the various IDs. So thank you very much for watching this very video. See you later.